Atlanta, live from K.L.P Studios. Ever wonder what went down behind the scenes of our top stories?
Say what?
Then tune into What Had Happened Was, the only radio station that takes you straight to the source. From coast to coast, tune in now as we dive deep into the stories, the drama, and the moments that shape the culture with
The swanky one, new K.L.P.
and
with your girl, Evelyn Letitia.
live, Swanky 93.3 and the Heat 94.6 radio stations, or wherever you get your podcasts from.
Oh,
Hey, you gonna do that? What you did last week?
what's up, y'all? What I did last week?
James Brown.
Oh, James Brown. Oh, I don't know what happened. James Brown said, y'all won't use my name. It's good now. Yes, it's your girl, Evelyn Letitia, and my boy, Kennedy Lucas Patterson.
Boy, howdy.
You are tuned in to the Badison Land. Yeah. Ow. Yeah. Ow. Yeah. Ow.
What had happened was,
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We back, man. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are officially back. Evelyn just embarrassed herself on camera. I'm just kidding. No.
Oh.
She's having fun. I'm having fun. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to
what had happened was,
I am one of your gracious hosts. Boy, howdy. K.L.P. Kennedy Lucas here. And to my right, Evelyn Letitia's here.
What it do,
In the
folks?
building.
Mm-hmm.
So we like to have fun in podcasts.
Yeah.
You see, there's a lot of things that happen, before these cameras rolls. That, this is our planning process.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so very much. Last week was our summer season opener, I guess we can call that.
Yes.
A great episode last week. You guys don't want to miss it. This summer, first of all, happy summer to everybody that's celebrating summer. This summer is our summer season. We've got a lot of great things planned for this podcast and all other content out there. So I do want to say on behalf of both of us on our show, thank y'all for staying tuned for last week. You guys enjoyed it. And this train's it's not stopping. This is still going. So welcome.
Yeah.
By the way, and if you're listening to us on any audio platform you get your podcast from, but Spotify video, YouTube, Facebook Watch, I post clips of my link of the show on my LinkedIn. And if you are in the car right now, going to the beach, or you're going to work, you can listen to us, right? On any audio platform you get your podcast from. And always on our Instagram, and that's WHHW
Radio 1.
Followers are growing, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
So, Evelyn,
Facebook.
Facebook. What happened was podcast on Facebook. That's growing too. So
absolutely.
we're everywhere. We're everywhere in your face.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of people ask me, like, "Hey, it's good to have you, Kennedy. Where that pod at?"
Yeah.
It's coming. It's here. So Evelyn, welcome back.
what had happened was,
What's going on?
Gotta catch up.
Catch up from last week.
Yeah, so still out here reviewing auditions for Ain't Too Proud, Aggie Pride,
Love it.
all that good stuff. Finally got some time to really sit down and catch up on a few shows. Still got your film in my watch list as well.
Hey.
Got to get on that.
Yeah.
So the next time we have another episode, I can actually speak on it.
Yeah.
Unlike some people who be like taking weeks and weeks to watch something.
So I canceled my Netflix. I knew you were gonna ask that. Because I needed Netflix. They don't have a lot. So I was like,
well, they got some new shows that are on there. I'm waiting for Beauty and Black to come back for season 3. When that comes, because I just saw an interview with I can't think of the actor's name, but he plays Horace on the show. He says season 3 has already been filmed and wrapped.
Wow.
So
Tyler Perry.
we're just waiting for that to come out. But yeah, I was able to sit down and catch up on episodes of Euphoria season 3.
Ooh, I did see that.
Yeah, on HBO Max.
Weird season. It's an interesting season.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's interesting. I don't think it's weird. I think it just because it's just they're not in high school anymore.
Yeah.
So but I like that it's following their lives outside of high school. But yeah, and some great acting and stuff going on there. I like the backstories of some of the people. See what's going on. But I've been catching up on that. The newest season of The Punisher is on Disney Plus. So I think I'm on episode 1 right now. So that's going good. I've been watching The Testament, which is the spinoff show of The Handmaid's Tales. Ooh. In the time that we're in right now, it all seemed too real, right? It seemed very real, but that's been a good show thus far. What else have I been doing? I've been doing a lot. I've been doing it well. Hey. No, but that deepening some friendships.
I love that.
One particular friendship that is steadily growing and may or may not grow into something else.
I was about to joke like.
May or may not grow into something else, but person is an amazing person. Even if it doesn't, we've discussed that. Even if it doesn't grow into something else, the friendship alone is amazing. To have someone on the same wavelength with you, and spiritually, emotionally, physically interested in the same things, can talk for hours, and I think that's the thing that started like. This could be something. It could be something. Possibly, because when you were having a conversation, as you think it's gonna be over in 30 minutes, and you look up and it's 3 hours later, and nothing has repeated. I love it. It's like, okay, this is refreshing. And who knows? Maybe this is why I'm extra giddy. I don't know, because I remember our last episode. I said, I am not on nothing. Because I know somebody will be like, hold on, powder, is that powder hitting her? I don't do no powder. I don't do none of that.
I know that feeling when you had crushes or friends that you wanted. I get it.
Yeah,
I've been there.
I've been there. And the thing for me has always been just whatever comes and is meant to be what happened. But enjoying the moments in it and not trying to rush anything, not trying to force anything. Just let stuff happen naturally. And if naturally a friendship turns into a love, then yes, if friendship remains friendship, but just on a deeper connected level, then that's what it is also. But all of that to say, life has been good. Just ready to see what the next phase of life got for me. So all that good stuff.
I love that. It's like,
so go ahead. So what's been going on for
How do I top that? I'm also in that same feeling. Life is going good right now. Dear Isaiah, my new documentary, streaming right now.
Yeah.
Apple Podcasts. YouTube TV. It's on there. So that's been good. That's been going really good. Last Wednesday, we premiered the first episode of my visual graphic novel / series. It's called Storm of Okai, and it's an introduction to the Guardians Initiative, the Guardian story, the Guardian cinematic universe. I do hope everyone enjoy it. We have my buddy, his name's Morgan. He's a voice actor. He's voicing. It's almost like you're listening to an audio book on that part, but there are some animated scenes that are in the series too. So that's just kind of introductory for Guardians, my new movie Guardians, coming later. I can't give it a date yet because we're still cooking on it. That's going to be a full feature in non-streaming platforms later on, but it's just kind of getting into that field of things. Summer season good. Podcasting is still going strong for all of the shows I've got. I did start this new podcast, a short little 10, 20-minute show. It's called Kenny Lucas Lift Mindset. And usually what that is about is me at the gym, mic'd up, working out, and just having casual conversations. And I forgot to mention this in my last week's catch-up, but I'm also going more deeper with my connection with God and my spirituality. So it's been a blessing. It's been such a great humbling thing. I do got some things I can't really say on this podcast that I got cooking up. Yeah. Of course, I'll tell you off camera, but I can't really tell the audience because it is still in work in progress with some stuff. But very, very excited, and that's really what I got going on. Yeah.
I forgot one thing. You go ahead and wrap up. I forgot one thing to mention of mine, but you go ahead.
I was just going to make a joke to you. It's hey, I ain't got nobody in my love circle right now, but I think I'm okay with that right now. I'm just kind of taking a break and just kind of taking a moment, just focus on other things first, and then if it comes, it comes, right?
Well, and that's two things I want to say to that. One being because love.
Yeah.
A film that I worked on a few years ago, and that's why it slipped my mind because it just came out. But it's currently on Tubi. It's called the Love Commandments. And so that's out on Tubi. I haven't even got a chance to sit down and watch it yet. Like that's how backed up I'm trying to get it. But yeah, Love Commandments is out now, and I saw the trailer again, the extended trailer that was put up, and I was like, "Come on, Evie, is she in there acting?"
Yeah.
But I also looked and saw the growth where I am now when it comes to my health because I said, "Oh, child, who is that?
Right.
Girl, you have it heavy." I was like, "Wow, I didn't realize I was that voluptuous at that time."
Oh.
But like I've even lost 20 more pounds since the start of the New Year's to now.
I love it.
And so like, but I looked back, I said, "Ooh, girl, you know, she's always been fine, but she was thicker and fine then." But I was like, okay, the growth, and you know, so I just want on top of the love,
right.
love Commandments is what it's called. It's on Tubi. And speaking of love, like even this person that I'm developing a deeper connection with and everything, and our friendship is steadily growing. This is one of those situations, like I always tell you, you know, you don't go looking for, like, allow things to happen. Sometimes we get in a rush as people that we'll go out rushing looking for something, and the first thing we see that says hey or hi, or it makes us get a little tinge of a feeling.
Right.
We think, oh, this is it. This is the one. And then we end up in things sometimes where that's not meant for us. I wasn't out looking for anybody. And mind you, this person, we had been friends on Facebook for some years. Right. And then I finally got to meet this person in person, literally last year, after being friends on social media for a few years. And that was because we was working on a project together, and I didn't know this person was on the project, and they didn't know and we hadn't seen each other since then. And then, but we stayed connected on social media and everything like that. And this person's always just been like, you know, when I would post stuff about flag football and all that kind of stuff, like, when do y'all play y'all games? I might have to come check you out. And I was like, okay. And I said, we got a game this way, blah, blah, blah. And so a couple of weeks ago, we playing our game, and one of my teammates, her boyfriend actually comes and watch some of our games. So we saw somebody standing out from the distance watching. I said, is that Oliver? She's like, no, I don't think he coming tonight. And so we're trying to figure out. She's like, who? I was like, I can't see that far. You know, this is stigmatism, baby. You got a good 10 to 15 feet. After that, I see a figure, but I can't see no facial features, right? So we didn't know who that was, and then we just let it go. And then after the game, because all my homegirls came to watch me play, and so I'm on the sideline talking, like, thank y'all for coming. And my friend walks up, and I said, oh my God, hey. So that was our second time ever meeting in person. And then later that week, I ended up going to karaoke, and so that was the third time. Like, they were downtown and we were out, you know, and that was a night, like, we were having a conversation, and that conversation, you know, started like maybe right around 11. Yeah, because we was inside the karaoke spot. And then when they got to close, it was out. I got walked to my car and was talking and everything, and just having a conversation about life and just. But I was standing for about 20 minutes. I was standing by my car, and I said, "You want to sit in the car?" Because my legs started to hurt, right? Which, you know, still had a lot of swelling because I had just gotten my injection in there, and we had a game like that Wednesday, so I needed to sit down. And so we were sitting in the car just talking. I'm thinking, maybe the conversation go another 15, 20 minutes. And, it's like, at this time, it's probably 11:45. We're just talking and talking. Next time we look up, it is 3:04 a.m. We was just talking. And, since then, like, just, and then he came back to another game of ours to help, you know, he was watching, but also came in shorts and cleats because we needed an extra person. Yeah. So yeah, it's just been a fun time. You know, it's been refreshing hearing different perspectives and stuff like that. But it was nothing like I was sitting down like, I need to be in a relationship. I want somebody to come. And it just kind of happened. Like, you know, wasn't looking for. It's kind of like when people say that cliche thing. You know, when you ain't looking for something, it'll happen. it is so cliche when people say that because
I get that a lot.
Usually it's in our time when we really want somebody now. And then somebody tells you that, you're like, quit telling me that bullshit.
I don't want to hear that.
No, I want to hear that.
Yeah,
right?
I get that a lot.
But then it's exactly like that. When you quit looking or you quit, and then somebody just randomly pop up. Like I said, we hadn't seen each other since last year. That one time we met in person. And now within the last 3 weeks, we've seen each other at least 4 times. Like, so... Yeah. It is what it is. So I just said all that to say, love will find you if it's meant to find you. You just keep on your track and your journey that you're on, and anybody who's meant to be in your life, you will meet them along the way.
Amen to that.
Type thing. So
amen to that. And now I'm 30, so I look. My views have changed a lot now.
not overnight. Your views changed.
Nah, I'm joking. Not overnight.
Yeah. But speaking of finding,
what's finding?
So of course, when it comes to our healthcare,
yes,
especially as Black folks, right? Mm-hmm. There's documentation and research that shows that Black people oftentimes their pain isn't taken seriously.
Yeah.
They're misdiagnosed. Their concerns are disregarded, and all that kind of stuff.
I see that a lot. It's sickle cell.
Yeah. There's a lot of you got a K on your elbow.
Got a who?
A K. Oh. I'm like, why you got a K on your elbow?
For Kennedy.
Yeah. I'm like, where did it come from though? Not the universe labeling you.
I don't know.
But like a lot of times there's been adverse reactions or mortality rates are higher.
Yeah.
In African Americans when it comes to dealing with the healthcare system, especially as it relates to having white doctors. Mm-hmm. So there was a site created called Find a Black Doctor specifically to address those things so that Black people can find Black doctors in whatever specialty so that, you could feel like you have great representation and that your concerns are taken legitimately.
Right.
Well, there was a conservative group that is now suing this site that was founded by a Black woman because they feel it racially discriminates against them because they're white doctors. Just totally ignoring all of the documented research that comes along with why Black people have better outcomes with Black physicians. Mm-hmm. Totally disregarding that and making this a about them situation.
Right.
And so I'm gonna play 2 videos here about this. So the first one is from Facebook, Dr. Michael H. Ford. Mm-hmm. Him talking about what things were created in regards to Black folks. Let me just turn my volume up.
Legal group just sued it.
All right, so let me start that over.
Conservative legal group just sued a directory called Find a Black Doctor. They used the Civil Rights Act of 1866, a law created to protect Black people after slavery, to do it. And their central argument is that racial concordance, the documented science showing that Black patients get better outcomes with Black doctors, is supposedly a debunked myth. Let's talk about every single thing wrong with that. Find a Black Doctor is an online directory funded by Dr. D. Strong, a board-certified dermatologist that connects patients with Black physicians and dentists. On May 19, 2026, a conservative nonprofit called Do No Harm filed a federal lawsuit against the directory, arguing that limiting listings to Black physicians violates civil rights law. Their plaintiff, Dr. Travis Morrell, a white dermatologist from Colorado, applied to the directory in December 2025 and was not accepted because he is not Black. Do No Harm says that is discrimination. Now let's talk about why that argument falls apart completely. I'm Dr. Michael H. Ford, and this is a story you need to hear. Black physicians represent less than 6% of practicing doctors in America. Despite Black people making up 13% of the population, that gap did not happen by accident. For decades, Black physicians were excluded from hospitals, denied admitting privileges, and shut out of professional advancement because the American Medical Association allowed its state and local medical societies to bar Black physicians from membership until 1968. Black doctors had to build their own medical associations, they had to build their own hospitals, and they had to build their own networks from scratch. The Find a Black Doctor website is a direct descendant of that history. Now, Do No Harm calls racial concordance a pernicious and debunked myth. Here is what science actually says. A 2022 National Bureau of Economic Research study found that increasing the share of Black providers led to a 15% decline in Black patient mortality. A Stanford University randomized clinical trial among 1,300 Black men in Oakland found that Black men assigned to Black doctors increased their uptake of diabetes screenings by 47% and cholesterol screenings by 72%, and that Black doctors could reduce the Black-white gap in cardiovascular mortality by 19%. Stanford and the National Bureau of Economic Research called it science. They used a law written to protect freed slaves to sue a directory created to correct centuries of medical exclusion. Find a Black Doctor is not discrimination. It is documentation of what happens when a system fails a community for generations. Less than 6% is not equity. It is evidence. And no lawsuit changes that. Healing starts with
Right.
knowing, follow for more. A
like that in itself. He gave you the history, right?
Gave you the whole history too.
And this is why I say, it just really irks my nerves when white people who blatantly try to be obtuse. Yeah. Like they don't know that there's racial bias and discrimination in healthcare. Yeah. Like and this I see that a lot. And it really pisses me off a lot when, history shows just how much black people are excluded. Right? Separate but equal, all this kind. We're excluded. And so when we go and build our own things, our own towns, our own hospitals, our own banks, think Black Wall Street. When we are doing our own, here come white people. I want to be a part of that.
They can't stand
It's like, y'all don't want us to be a part of y'all stuff. But when we are thriving on our own, here y'all are in black people business. What y'all doing over there? And like, it's not like we're excluding y'all because we just hate white people.
That's not the case.
He just went through the history of why it's a necessity, and the not even necessity, but showing the progress that black people have, the better outcomes they have with black doctors. Right. How the gaps are closed in healthcare. Yep. How more black men are going to get screenings when they have black doctors. Right?
Because you'd be surprised because for what I hear in articles for black men, we don't like to go to the doctor. Now, I do because health as well.
And
a lot of black men, they don't like to go to the doctor.
And that's based in history. Yeah. Like, literally, there was over a 30-year experiment of syphilis that was deliberately, black men were infected by our government. And even after penicillin that could cure it was found, they did not give it to them. They continued to watch them for years more so they could see what syphilis would do on the body. Right. They continue to let this thrive in black men who were going home, passing it on to their wives, who were having children that they were passing it through the birth canal. Like, they allowed this to happen. And so then you end up, and you wonder why black men do not trust the government or let alone doctors, the people who are supposed to protect and do no harm, as this group is called, that this white doctor's a part of, did a lot of harm. Right. And so now you're trying to sue the very site that's helping black people. If you are a white physician and your do no harm is most important to you, you wouldn't have a problem with this. Because in a sense, there's no harm being done to black people. It's actually helping them with their health outcomes. You will be a champion for this site. You will be reposting it everywhere, saying, I need black people to go find them a doctor because I care about your health and I want you to have the best outcomes. But no, you made it about yourself, which in itself is totally opposite of the do no harm. And me as a practitioner, and I go to people's homes, I see the way black people light up when I'm in their home. Because I said, well, I see you haven't had a physical or your primary in about 2 years, but when I go, they don't listen to me. They give me 10 minutes, and I try to ask my question. They rushing me out, and then they say, you've done 10 times better than my doctor, and I had that doctor for 5 years. Oh, wow. And I have to advocate for members. I have to advocate and say, you have a say in your health care. If your provider is not giving you adequate health care, if they are not listening, if they're not taking your concerns seriously, you have a right to get a new primary doctor. Yep. You are not obligated to stay there. I said you can even call your insurance company and ask them by zip code where you live, what other doctor offices are in my network that my insurance covers and that are accepting new patients. You can call your insurance. They have a directory to show you exactly who's in network with them. And so I have to advocate for a lot of my, I said, because what I tell people often, I said, you not going to get your physical yearly because the doctor is not, answering your question. I said, yeah, it may feel like, you have a leg up, like, okay, I don't have to be belittled. So I said, but it's detrimental to your health. Because if something is going on, it's getting worse and you don't know it. Like, you haven't had any lab work, like, you don't know, you walk around, you say, yeah, I feel bad, but what if you're feeling bad because your thyroid levels are really low? Your potassium is really low, your sodium is really low, or you're getting these frequent migraines. What if it's not, neurological? What if it's more you get these headaches like this because your blood pressure is so high, that your blood pressure up here is
hypertension.
It's causing all kinds of things going on. Like, so I often advocate for them, but I see a lot of black people. They are so excited that I'm their practitioner, but again, I come out once a year.
Right.
Their insurance company sends me to do their full healthcare exam and physical in the home. And, before I leave, they said, can I get you next year? And I always jokingly tell them, I said, that depends. I said, because if I come into a large sum of money, baby, I'm retiring.
Yeah.
You won't get me. But I always tell them, I said, you absolutely can't get me. You can always request me to come back next year. And if you can't remember my name, I'm the last practitioner on your chart. So just tell them I want the last practitioner that came. My name will be there. And, I said, if I'm still with the company and they could fit a time that, your schedule matches with mine, they would absolutely send me back to you. Right. I always have to advocate, but yeah, you have a right to
to switch it up.
Yeah. And there's another lady, here that also I want to share this video. This is from Facebook. This comes from Melinda Hale, and she was just talking about. She said these people make me itch. They quite literally don't want us to have anything. Just leave us alone. And she's going to talk about some of the same thing I was just talking about. I'll let a little bit of it play.
Dermatologist is suing the Find a Black Doctor directory, claiming discrimination because he was excluded from being listed. When I tell you that I am physically exhausted from having to explain to willfully ignorant people that black spaces are not about exclusion or discrimination, they're about survival.
Listen.
And safety.
Black
people seek out black doctors or
I want to echo what she just said.
Yeah, survival safety is what got me.
Black spaces are not about exclusion. Yep. They are about survival and safety. And if you don't get that, you don't want to get that.
Therapists or any form of care. We're thinking about ourselves. Yeah. We're not thinking about you. It's not because we hate anyone. It's because the data literally keeps showing that racism in medicine is not getting any better. Nope. Like, I don't know how many times I have to say that, like, black women, for example, in America are still 3 times more likely to die from pregnancy-related causes than white women. And that black patients are constantly reporting how they are ignored or undertreated for pain, or they're just dismissed altogether. Like, how many studies do you need to show this? Directories like Find a Black Doctor exist because people are still racist. And they don't care whether we live or die. Mm-hmm. Black doctors make up, 5% of doctors in the United States? But we, as a demographic, account for 13% of the population. And the other thing is that so many of these white people filing these complaints immediately assume discrimination because that's the lens through which they've operated. But for marginalized communities, protective spaces have never been about you. It's literally about our safety. No one is trying to discriminate against white people or exclude white people when we have our spaces. White people's exclusion of us was based on stereotypes and lies. We just want safety. And honestly, if you're a white person that knows what you're doing, whether it's with black hair or black skin or whatever, black people will hype you up. We hype up people for less. But you, Dr. Travis Morrell, in what world would I come to you to deal with my melanated skin, especially after you filing this lawsuit? Yeah. It's only going to make people not want to get treated.
And for people don't understand it, he's a dermatologist. Oh. So that's why she said, why would I come to you for my melanated skin? And then you doing this lawsuit. So
yeah, he's not going to have many of us coming to see him.
Yeah.
By you. You could have easily done a little post and been like, hey, black people, I know you want to feel safe, but I got you. You can come see me. But instead, you chose this route. They always choose this route. Yeah. Leave us alone.
And I agree with everything sis said.
I do too.
Like, seriously, like, how...
You just gotta leave us alone. Like, we're no harm. We ain't trying to harm. We what she say? Safety and survival.
Safety and survival.
Safety and survival. I do remember the time though when I had the respiratory infection, and the nurse came in, and it was like a half second, just all right, pills. I'm like, okay, can you explain more? Yeah. And then I forgot her assistant told me everything that was wrong. It was a respiratory infection. I was like, well, yeah, because she didn't tell me that. Mm-hmm. But I'm all right. At that time, I was too sick. I was like, all right, give me how much is the pills? All right, I'll run through my insurance. Let me get these pills. Get out of here, right? So it does happen. It does happen. survival and safety.
I just that I just can't anymore. Like she said, it's exhausting.
It is
because the majority of them they know exactly what they're doing. Yeah. They know exactly what they're doing. Like even when I remember the end of 2020, I was working for a different company at the time and going through. Like I had a manager at the time who was just micromanaging and all kinds of stuff. And just always, I didn't have any issues with any of my life. She was the only person in my life that was just causing just extra strife and all this kind of stuff. And then also in some of the homes I was going to, there was stuff that I felt like it was triggering me some childhood stuff. And so I decided, because my company at the time, like I had benefits, EAP, which is a employee assistance program, where your company will give you so many free counseling sessions with a licensed counselor. Right. And we had 5. And I remember calling them. I said, I want to use my EAP benefits to get a counselor. And I specifically asked that lady on the phone, I said, please direct me to any black counselors. I said, preferably a woman, but it does not have to be a woman. It could be a man. The reason I asked that is because I needed somebody who can identify with my black skin and my black experiences. Yeah. Because mind you, I had already been to counseling. I think this was my 4th time. Like when I was in college, my junior year, I ended up going to counseling because my dad got laid off from his job, and so he had COBRA insurance for a little while. Which he ended up getting another job, but in the nursing program at Clemson where I was, you had to maintain your own health insurance. And I was on my dad's health insurance. So when he got laid off from his job or whatever, and all that kind of stuff, my health insurance went away. And I still had another year to finish in college. So there was a lot of stress and all that kind of stuff. And we had counseling services on campus. So I went because there was a black counselor. And I went to her. And then twice when I was married, we went to 2 separate counselors. Again, through my job at the hospital, I had EAP benefits, so it covered me and my spouse, so we was able to go to that. And then we did another one, and both of those were white women. And there were times where I would say stuff, and they would just like try to make me feel like, maybe are you sure you're not just a tad bit sensitive or overthinking it, or and I remember those particular experiences. And so when I had to get a new counselor, I was like, no, I said I need someone black. Yeah, who can relate. I said preferably a woman, but I will take a black man as well. I just need someone who can relate to what passive aggressiveness is. Right. All kinds of stuff. I need them to be able to relate to that. And also when I get to talk about my black experience from childhood up, I need them to understand something. Like if I was to say, oh, well, I got burnt on my forehead with a curling iron, and not saying that's one of my experiences that was traumatized, but most black little girls know what it felt like at that time, that you get your bang and that little, as opposed to most little white girls didn't have that, because we had hot curling irons where some of them get their hair done wet and then they let it dry on a dryer or something. So it's totally different experience. Or a hot comb. Let me use that one more. A hot comb, right? Hot comb. So, like, if I'm talking about a certain experience, I need somebody who understands what I'm talking about and not me having to explain every single little thing I'm talking about. Right. And so it was important for me. And that lady didn't question. Now, I will say that I commend the lady on the phone, because if we had to go about what her voice sounded like in my ears, it definitely gave white woman. And she didn't judge me for asking for a black person. She didn't, why does that matter? Or like try to get defensive in it. She said, I absolutely can get you some practitioners and or counselors who are of color. And she sent me a list of like 10 people that day, in my area. Like, so I commend her for being able to do that. Because even when we get into professional right there. Yeah, because even when we get into talking about these type things, the amount of white people who get so offended that you would want somebody black over your health care. Right. Where the data presents why that's a necessity is just baffling to me, right? Yeah.
We just got to, like I say, and we say that we're not talking to all white people in the world, but y'all just got to leave us alone, right? We want to do our own thing, and I've noticed it too, where when you're seeing a lot of small black-owned businesses or black-owned companies or black-owned this and that, I have seen it to where people will be like, "Oh, well, how you do that? How'd you do that? How'd you do that?" None of my close friends ask me that, but like people, my colleagues, I'll say my associates who are white, how'd you do that? How'd you do that? Like, what do you want to know all this?
Because in some of their minds, they put in their minds, they've already put a glass ceiling of where they think you should elevate to.
Right.
So when you elevate beyond where they have you stopped in their mind, or you got networks of people that they think, oh, you should never be how do you know them? How do you talk to them? I get the same thing. They're like, hold on, how do you know them? How you get up there? How you get on that panel? It's because and some of them don't even recognize their own biases when it comes to that.
Yeah.
But they have literally put a glass ceiling for you in their mind.
Yeah.
And that's they're like, oh, while you working your way up to their little glass, and they're happy for you. They love it. Like, oh my gosh, you're doing such amazing work. But the second you go over that glass ceiling where they had you, like, hold on now.
Hold on, you scaring me.
This wasn't in my bingo cards. How did you get above there? Like, that's what it feels like when they be asking you. I'm like, what do you mean? How do I know? How did I get here? Like,
and then I tell them, when people, my colleagues, associates ask me that, I was like, yeah, I'm just me being me, networking, talking, being real.
As a nurse practitioner, the amount of white patients I've had tell me.
Yeah.
Even when I was a nurse in the hospital, oh my gosh, you're so well spoken.
It's like
your people must be so proud of you. I know they're proud.
I hear that too. You want to know another one? Hi, my name is Kennedy. Kennedy? Well, who named you that?
Yes.
My daddy and my mama? Well, how'd you get? Well, my dad's name is Kenneth, so you just take the TH and put DY. I mean, like the president? Sure.
No,
that's not why.
The way you say that is like how they be. Like the president?
Because I had associates who were of the Caucasian party.
Baby.
Like the president? Sure, I guess. I mean, not really, but sure. So, look, and I say this again, because we have to preface this. We're not hating on all white people in the world. We're not. We just.
And if anybody thinks that we're hating on all white people,
you really shouldn't. But hey,
if you're offended, that's on you,
that's
baby.
On you at this point. But yeah, you'd be surprised. Like with my name alone. Oh, what's your middle name? Lucas? Really? Like
George Lucas. Yeah.
That was my next part. Like Lucas Films. Sure, I guess. And I tell my dad's uncle was Uncle Luke, so I mean it just kind of that's how they did it.
Not Uncle Luke.
Yeah.
Uncle Luke.
Oh yeah, like the artist. Yeah.
What's your number on that side?
I think it was my dad's great uncle. Dad, comment below if I might. I think it was your great uncle or your great. No, it was your brother, half brother. I gotta text him about that. But yeah, Uncle Luke was part of the family, and they named me Lucas. So
all right,
there's a little history for y'all. But yeah, like I say, I'm proud of the Black Doctors community. I like that website. That is my first time hearing of that website. So next time I go and get my physical, I'm gonna look at that website. Lately, when I went to the eye doctor, my doctor was black. Yeah. Dr. Boo.
Dr. Who?
Dr. Brown.
Oh, Dr. Brown.
Dr. Brown.
Gotcha.
She was nice. She was very, very nice. She was like, "Ooh, can you see?" I was like, "No, I can't," because you know how you do the testing, and I'm like, she's like, "Don't squint your eyes," baby. I'm like, all right, I can't see this.
Can't see that.
Yeah. So.
Well, the takeaway from that entire story is we create our spaces not to exclude anybody, but for security and safety, which brings me to
security and safety.
Well, I want you to hear
what had happened was
so allegedly there was another attempt on the president. Allegedly.
Speaking of fatigue and tired.
We tired.
We tired.
We is tired.
Attempts and shootings.
Because y'all quit playing with our intelligence like this. Yeah. But anyways, this is from Facebook. Tracy Fan, she posted this story. She said the gunman who opened fire near the White House on Saturday afternoon has been identified as a 21-year-old named Nasir Best of Maryland. Says he was shot by Secret Service agents and died on the way to the hospital. According to reports, Best allegedly had multiple prior encounters with the Secret Service and had a history of mental health issues. Best was detained by Secret Service on June 26, 2025 for flagging down agents and making threats. and again on July 10th, 2025 for entering a restricted area. And for those of you highly intelligent folks who said, was he black? Ding, 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 you would be correct. Yes, that's why he was shot and killed. Now you're going to tell me that this black man shot outside of the White House. He was shot by Secret Service and died on the way to the hospital, but yet during a correspondent dinner, a white man, a white gunman was able to run through security with a weapon on, not be shot by Secret Service. They detain him, strip him of all his clothes, and he's still alive. Sitting there. Like, and yet, y'all want to believe that that was a real attempt.
Come on now.
Again.
Come on now.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Moving on.
What had happened was...
That's all y'all get from me on that one. But more of the BS. So one of the things that's been happening as of late, a lot of states, particularly a lot of southern states, have been redrawing their district lines when it comes to voting and representation, right? Tennessee was one of them that just has some stuff done, and totally just the little bit of district of black voter representation they had was completely kind of wiped out based on how they redrew the lines, and they pushed it through so fast to get it done. Well, South Carolina is basically in the same boat right now. Yeah. Governor McMaster, who is about to leave South Carolina, originally said that the district lines would not be redrawn, only for, I guess, to get a call from the White House. And then just like that, we were in session to vote on whether or not we need to redraw our district lines. And it went through the House of Representatives and got passed to redraw. So now it's going to the Senate. Now, mind you, in South Carolina, Senator Jim Clyburn, who's black, who has a majority black representation district, if they redraw the lines in the way that they want, his district completely is gone, right? And that representation is gone. So right now, for our state in South Carolina, it's sitting at the Senate. There was, I guess, a motion on the floor to speed through the process, but at least the Senate said, no, we're not speeding through this process. We're going to look through everything before we make our final decision, which itself is at least a better sign than what happened in the House, right? Right. So we still waiting to see what South Carolina going to do. But if they do redraw those lines, Senator Jim Clyburn, his district is gone. And so because all of this has been going on, there has been a call to action for black athletes to stop going to white universities in these states. Basically saying, like, if these white states are going to strip away your voting power and your representation, quit going to their schools, playing their sports, bringing them in billions of dollars each year, and they don't even want you to have representation when it comes to voting. So that's what's on topic right now, and people are calling for them to boycott these white schools, reinvest in HBCUs, and go there. And so there's been this split conversation about, there's some people on one side saying, the older generation and people who voted in this last election, you had a job to do and you failed at it. Right. Which is why we had a president we have, which is why we have a lot of the senators and House of Representatives folks that we have, because y'all did not do your job last year in the primaries in the general election, and now you're putting all this responsibility on kids who are about to graduate high school and go and start their future. You're putting a responsibility on them to pull us out of this mess that y'all put us in. So that's one take on it, in which I totally agree with that. Like, right? But the other side, or the same side of that coin of that take, some people are saying that these are kids, we shouldn't put all this responsibility on kids and blah, blah, blah. That I disagree with. And the reason I disagree with it is the same thing that this young lady has said, and I got her little. Look, I've been getting these videos because they've been saying what I'm gonna say anyway. So I'm gonna let y'all hear it in their voice. Now I probably won't play the entire thing, but throughout history, it's always been the young folks who have been responsible on the ground level for getting these civil rights movements and things started. Right. So to now in 2026 act like, they're too young to handle this responsibility. Right? And if you felt like they were too young to take on this responsibility, you should have did your job at the voting polls when you had a chance. But no, some of y'all are just waking up that the con man is a con. How ironic.
Yeah, something y'all voted for.
Yeah, like how ironic. But anyways, this is from Lene Vinay. And I hope I'm saying your name correctly. Sorry, I'm not. But she's on Facebook, and this is what she had to say.
And hey, y'all, what's up? It's Friday, and I'm not in the mood.
What had happened was...
I've just come here to discuss with you ever so briefly the NAACP asking for young college students to stop playing at these schools in states where the states have gerrymandered their maps, southern states specifically. And for those of you on the internet talking about, oh, we shouldn't be putting the onus or all that pressure on children, I don't have the patience to be delicate with you in this moment, so don't be mad at me. Get somebody else to hold your hand when I say this. Either you don't read, you're willfully ignorant, or you're too beholden to the cult mentality that is your sports fandom. Because the civil rights movement, you may have seen Dr. King, Bayard Rustin, whoever else, Joseph B. Lowry, all these people that's got streets named after them in Atlanta. You may have seen older black men at the
What had happened was...
But women and children, specifically, spearheaded, quarterbacked civil rights movement. Mm-hmm. Yeah, organized, en masse, innovated. Birmingham Children's Crusade. Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. The sit-ins, students. The freedom rides, students. I'm confused. Even when you get into the 70s, young people inundated the Black Panther Party. Fred Hampton, FBI started tracking that man when he was 14, killed him when he was 21. What are we talking about? We gotta stop acting like the slightest inconvenience is more important than our freedom. They're doing reparations in our face and giving it to January 6th. The people say we should be applying for it too, but that's not the point. They are laughing in our face because they know that we will not actually divest to the point of actually making change. If you send your kids to the black schools, and while we're here, it's all HBCU love. So just give me 2 seconds when I say this. Every time Spelman, Morehouse, or Howard gets, I don't know, some new paraphernalia from a brand, or we see a lot of resources going to these schools, there's all these conversations about how these 3 HBCUs get all the attention. FAMU gets put in the conversation, and CAT gets put in the conversation. Forgive me if I'm...
Cuddle and save on insurance.
Not commercial.
Yeah.
But anyways, you hear what she had to say about those different organizations that were student-driven that started. And I went in the comments because one of the ladies that's in the comments, she actually talked about one of the organizations, which she said, oh, well, the sit-ins in Greensboro were done, by students. Right. And to which I went in and commented, like, yeah, they were. That's the entire premise of our film, Aggie Pride.
Hey.
North Carolina A&T at HBCU, there are 4 freshmen. We're not talking about seniors who've been out of the house for a while and get to live, and they've developed some more thought processes outside of their home. They had time to really, grow into that. We're talking about freshmen. We're talking about fresh 17, 18, and back then a lot of people oftentimes graduated even earlier, 16-year-olds. We're talking about those students who decided to go and integrate a counter to say, I'm not taking any more of this mess, right? Those were students. Yeah. She said not to put pressure on children. The Greensboro 4 were 17, 18-year-old, right? And that's when I commented and I shared that we are absolutely doing a video, a movie on Aggie Pride. And it's just like, what are we saying, right? That, they're too young? Come on, y'all. Yeah. Come on. Like she said, don't let your fandom for sports outweigh your rights and your voice. Yeah. Because you can be paying $50 to $100, $100+ for tickets to go see a game, to be a part of that, and then you can't go back to your neighborhood and have the rights that you want, and they're steadily redrawing lines, and you don't have no representation in local government, none on the state level, none on the federal level. Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, that's true. And a colleague years ago told me that, especially in the university scene, that the kids have a powerful voice.
Very powerful. Right.
Whether they're when they're getting ready to graduate from high school, you have to make a decision which school you're going to, because sometimes a school might offer you a full ride to attend their school if you're a high school athlete getting ready to do college athlete, and that part I understand because it costs money to go to school. But for those who are athletes that may not look at those scholarships, look at the HBCUs, and I think it's up to students to kind of innovate sort of a new movement, because the students for the universities, that's their audience. The students, that's the moneymaker, is the students, not in a disrespectful way.
Yeah.
So a lot of these schools are going to look at things differently when they see a wave of students making changes for both PWI and HBCUs for the greater, in my opinion.
And although it requires money to go to school, and you want to be like, okay, well, I can't afford to pay out of pocket, or my child got to go where the scholarship go. This, if we're talking about HBCUs and funding them, and our community really like uplifting our HBCUs, this is a moment in time where our black billionaires, our black millionaires, our entertainers, our pro athletes, this is a unique moment in time where you can put your money where your mouth is. You can invest in HBCUs. You can go, like, look at some of these kids who are, trying to get scholarships to deter them from going to these PWIs, predominantly white institution. Hey, sponsor a child. Play for their education for 4 years. If you're going to spend $500,000 or more on a Maybach, you can send somebody's child to school at an HBCU for 4 years, less than that. So this is a unique time, and promise you, I'm not saying this because some people will come in and being ignorant. Oh, you can't count about other people's money. What are you doing? If I had their money, I would be doing it.
If I had $100 million,
I definitely would be doing it. I'll be sending several students to HBCUs, making sure they got their way to do. If HBCUs are falling apart because they don't get the state funding, and if this is your time to invest. If students are saying, well, I don't want to go to that HBCU because they don't got a good dormitory life, or they don't have this is your moment in time to help build those dormitories. Like, put your money where your mouth is. Jeff Bezos' ex-wife, and I can't think of her name right now. I can't think of her name, but she has given billions now to HBCUs. If a white woman who's a billionaire is one person who has been spreading money, billions out amongst all these HBCUs over these past few years, you telling me that our black billionaires and millionaires and entertainers can't do one child to sponsor?
Good point. You
can't build one dormitory on a campus. Like, so there's no excuse right now. This is a dire time to show these white universities what's really going on. And what hits them most is their pockets. Right. Them booster clubs and that money. They know that black athletes bring in the money. They know this. So hit them where it hurts. Sponsor these kids. Help build things. Help the infrastructure at these at these schools. This is a unique moment in time. I hope that we take advantage of it as a culture. I really hope so. But that's all I got for that. You had one more topic.
One more topic.
Yes.
We talked about a lot of...
We're going to lighten up on y'all a little bit. This is dire right now. When we talk about security and safety, this is dire information, but we're going to lighten up. We're going to lighten up on y'all. Okay.
Let's talk music.
Let's
Let's lighten it up. Rick Ross, look. Rick Ross is getting ready to have his new album. I think June 12th. Okay. Set in stone. I'm a fan of Rick Ross, and I wanted to talk about it because recently he was on AD. Okay. And he was showing off his Miami mansion, right? I'm excited for his new album because I'm a huge Rick Ross guy, right? I like Mastermind. I like what's the other one? Rather You Than Me.
Mind you, this is the expert because I don't know nothing now. Title of any album. I know there's certain songs I like when Rick Ross comes on.
Port of Miami.
Like, I'm the biggest boss that you've seen thus far. Like certain things that he's in, I like, right? Yeah. But I couldn't tell you the name of the album it came from. I couldn't tell you the name of the album. Because I tend to listen to music by the song. Yeah. Okay. There's very few albums that I have that I can listen to from top to bottom. Yeah. Right? I think the last album I even bought, like that, or listened to from top to bottom was, and it's a different genre than Rick Ross, but Silk Sonic. Oh, I watched that from listen top to bottom.
Some of their songs.
And I typically move throughout the day, so I'm listening to songs here and there, not like full albums per se. But yeah, so anything y'all hear, I'm just taking Kennedy's word for it because I don't know not their title.
Rick Ross OG, I'm excited for Set in Stone because You know, when I was in middle school, my brother was in high school. That song, Aston Martin music. You know, but Alex, you used to bump that all day, every day. But I wanted to talk about this because it seems like a lot of the OG rappers are coming back, right? You got T.I. getting ready to come back, right? Jay-Z might be coming back. I mean, he's hinted some things. That Juvenile don't have some records come back. Method Man, believe it or not, is trying to make a comeback. So a lot of these OGs, they're making their comeback. And I'm very, very excited for it. I'm here for it. I just hope with this, we get something that is classical, right? Because we're starving for I'm starving at least for some good music now. Like Chris Brown album, Brown. I only like 2-3 songs up from that.
I haven't listened to all of them yet. So
if you listen to it, it's just not like Heartbreak on a Full Moon. That was great, right? This Brown album. I mean, I like #Body Goals because Tank's in it, and anything Tank is doing, I'm a big fan of, right? And then Honey Pack, and you got Obvious, and it depends. Those songs we already heard before, right? That's what I want. What I want different from Rick Ross is, okay, let's get something new, but let me get some of that. You know how like Rick Ross have those. Like I know you haven't listened to a lot of Rick Ross songs, but they got Rick Ross's beat selection, music making. It's just different. If that makes sense, it's not like your typical 808 boom bap type of rap.
Well, then that's the case though. If it's more about the beat making, then we have to look at who his engineer is, his producer. True. Because I don't see that Rick Ross is sitting in there putting beats together.
Yeah, well, probably not.
So,
well, yeah, I don't know. We might. I don't know. We might be.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Like I wonder who his producer is.
I wonder that.
I'm not saying he doesn't do any of them, but
right. But we just need. I mean, in Hit Boy and Hitmaker and I forgot DJ Mustard, all of them are great. You guys had your year last year, last few years. Let's get some new people in here that can really make some music. Now, it can't be me because I'm still trying to learn this music thing. So I can't say I'm the OG in music making, but you know, it's just that's what I want. There's something different. But shout out to Rick Ross. I really wanted to talk about that because I get really excited when I see Rick Ross. I still haven't listened to Drake.
Yeah, I was about to say the add on to that because you know him and Drake have always been like back and forth, tit for tat, with like arch nemesis. But Drake shocked the world because we already knew he was going to be releasing Iceman album. We talked about it before he went on vacation. Iceman, but he shocked the music industry by simultaneously dropping 3 full-length studio albums: Iceman, Maid of Honor, and Habiti.
I don't have time for all that. I'm sorry.
And it's been getting like, you know, mixed reviews. Yeah. Some people right out the gate said, nah, this trash. And people like, see, that's how you can tell people really hate Drake for no reason because there ain't no way you had time to listen to all 3 albums that quick. Yeah. You know, people like, I'm reading some of the comments. This is from Angie Martinez's page. Tone Voss said he released his 3 albums because he knows Kendrick will come back with just one and kill it again. Rashana Couch said it's like breaking up with someone and they send you a 4-page letter through text. Oh man. Let's see who else. Yard Chris said he could have just released a 45-track album like Chris Brown did, but make your money, sis. Tammy Hudson said he dropped 3 albums because he never stopped working. An artist is an artist, period. I hope he makes excellent numbers on each of them. Y'all weird as hell, by the way. 100. Drew, he must be trying to get out of the contract with multiple people that he signed to. Because everybody was talking about he's in a 360 deal type thing. Yeah. And usually with those, you have so many albums you got to do before you get that contract. Edwin Cruz says, everyone talks about DMX going platinum in the same year with 2 different albums released. How about 1, 2, and 3 platinum albums in the same year? League of His Own. It's someone's Natural Berry said he can drop 1,000 albums, but we will always remember Not Like Us. Yeah. And on one, I did hear one of the songs. It was supposed to be, I guess, a play on like Not Like Us, like his version of it. And I was just like, The song was okay, but I was like, that song that he did does not have the impact that Not Like Us. Not Like Us went worldwide. Yeah. It transcended race. Right. It transcended culture. religion. Like you literally have people dancing to the music from it, doing like their dances, their cultural stuff, everything. And I don't know, there's something about for the rest of your life, people around the world just yelling out A minor, like your song didn't hit like that. Like it's good, but it don't have that impact. It don't have that impact. Like
it's the bounce back.
Yeah. So we're gonna see what it do. But I haven't really listened. You know, I got about a 2-hour drive back to South Carolina. I might put that on. We'll see. We'll see how I'm feeling when I get in the car. Yeah. But other than that, that's all we got for y'all.
That's all I got.
Y'all be begging us. We be trying to give y'all the most and everything. But we love it.
Look at that time.
We love it though.
What had happened was...
Make sure you follow us on Instagram, WHHW Radio 1.
What had happened
on
was...
Facebook, we are What Had Happened Was Podcast. You can also listen to us anywhere you get your streaming services for podcasts.
What had happened was...
This is my boy, Kennedy Lucas Clapson.
Boy, howdy.
And I'm your fabulous, curvy, sexy girl, Evelyn. And we want you to tune in the next time on
What had happened was...
where we keep all the commentary that you need to hear coming straight from the headlines.
What had happened was...
We'll see you next time. Deuces.
Peace.
Made in Georgia.